welcome to another episode of Diary of a Wannabe Comedian with me, Belle, a wannabe comedian. I went to see Fascinating Aida at the weekend and it was good fun. My mum had got some tickets for her friends and she invited me along and we had brilliant seats. We were right at the front. And it's the same pianist that supports them that accompanied Paulus in his show about Victoria Wood. And he's just brilliant. But yeah, it felt good being near people that are creative, even though I've not really been on a stage. Well, I haven't been on a stage myself for some time. I'm building myself up for it. And I think I've probably benefited by taking January easy. So as you know, I'm going to re-establish my New Year's resolutions and what I'm going to do for the year from February the 1st. So that'd be Thursday. I'll speak to you on Thursday about that. The other bit of news I've got is, you might recall I did a podcast where I talked about the tax on hope, because Spotlight are charging people, they had a top tier level and they were charging people to apply for jobs. Now, I hadn't appreciated that in any other industry that's illegal. So I'm a contractor and I do legally type things. So when I look for a job, I realise I don't actually pay for looking for those jobs. But yeah, for some reason, some of these agencies charge you for creative roles, for applying for creative roles, which really is a tax on hope. Anyway, fast forwarding, Equity up until now have been quite okay with this exemption, i.e. creative industry is exempt from this ruling, not being able to charge. They've been kind of okay with it. But actually the rules state that you can only really charge reasonable expenses for advertising the roles and finding people for the roles. And as their investigation has found out, Spotlight make £1.2 million a month, which it's very hard to conceive that that's how much their expenses are in a month. So, as a consequence, Equity, of whom I'm a member, have issued a letter before action, and they want to help Spotlight go through their finances and justify why they need 1.25 million a month expenses. So things are really moving on that front. I have to say, I've not used Equity really. I've read bits and pieces when you get the magazine through. I get a diary every year. Not that I've had one this year, which I've never used, but it's quite good because it's got all the theatre phone numbers in it. I guess the biggest benefit is that I've got professional indemnity insurance with them. But as I'm reading things like this, you realise just how much they do for the industry. But it's funny, isn't it? One of the lowest paid industries has some of the biggest charges. Why is that? We really do not seem to value creativity as a profession. And I don't know why. In fact, Fascinating Aida mentioned that on Saturday. They said something about, I can't remember now, but they did say something about the fact that the government doesn't value a career on the stage. And that's just so wrong, because if we're in need of anything right now, it's a jolly good laugh. So comedians should be paid a fortune. Of course, I would say that, wouldn't I? Much love and gratitude.